Hi, I'm Chrissy. Thanks for joining me on my new channel, If With Chrissy. Today I'm announcing that I have decided to stop burning captions into my videos. Now I'm profoundly hearing impaired. I wear super powerful hearing aids without which I cannot hear human voice at any reasonable volume, let alone distinguish words. So I only watch videos with the captions on. If a video does not have them, I don't bother watching. No matter how curious sounding the title, no matter how enticing the promotional call to action may be, if it doesn't have the little CC box indicating that the video is accessible to me, I won't bother disappointing myself by checking it out only to not be able to have any clue what the heck is going on. So why the heck would I choose to stop burning captions into my videos? I'm hearing impaired, and my hearing loss is clinically categorized as profound, and that's how I identify myself, simply as profoundly hearing impaired. Different people with different degrees of hearing loss use different terminology and identify differently based on lots of different factors that range from their degree of hearing impairment to how they identify culturally. So I'm only speaking for myself here. And here's what profound hearing loss means for me. Without my hearing aids, I cannot understand human speech. Someone can shout directly in my face, and I may get some vibrations. I may get some distorted shrieking sounds, and if I'm horrifically unlucky, maybe some spit. So I am very pro-caption. Even with my hearing aids, understanding speech requires a lot of work. Captions mean I can watch and know what the heck is happening. But it's still work. I'm reading, I'm trying not to miss facial expressions and cues and all the nuances and all the action all at once. With captions, I don't have to spend the entire video trying to figure out what someone said 3 sentences ago while everything's moved on. But here's something I really want content creators to understand. Tens of millions of Americans live with hearing loss. And worldwide, the World Health Organization estimates more than 1.5 billion people have some degree of hearing loss. That's nearly 1 in every 5 people on Earth. But captions are only for people like me. People use captions for all kinds of different reasons. Maybe the viewer is someplace noisy. Maybe the viewer is someplace quiet and can't have the sound on. Maybe they're watching in bed next to someone who's sleeping. Maybe English is not their first language. Maybe captions simply help the viewer process information better. In fact, research has shown that a surprisingly large percentage of people who use captions are not hearing impaired at all. Which brings me to the reason I'm making this video. Because after everything I just said, yes, I'm taking captions off my videos. Sort of. I've been doing 2 things with If With Chrissy. First, I upload an SRT caption file directly to YouTube, which gives you proper closed captions that you can turn on or turn off. Second, I've also been burning captions directly onto the video itself. So even if you turn YouTube's captions off, you're still getting captions. Like this. I'm turning that back on just to show you in case you haven't caught one of my earlier videos yet. And now I'm turning these kind back off. For good. Probably. Because I was essentially making the decision for you. Captions whether you need or want them or not. And I started wondering why. If you need captions like I do, they're there. Turn them on. If you hear perfectly well, but just want them, they're there. Turn them on. But if you don't want captions covering part of your screen, or if you don't want them for any reason at all, you should be able to turn them off. And I'm starting to think that's actually a better approach to accessibility in general. Because accessibility isn't necessarily about making everybody experience the same thing the same way, nor should it be. We are, after all, each of us, wonderfully, uniquely made. It's about making sure people have a way to access it, the people who need it, the people who want it, and where possible, doing so without forcing everyone to have to experience it that way if they don't need to or don't want to. It's about, where possible, giving people choices. So going forward, I'm not burning the entire conversation permanently onto my long form videos. No more karaoke style read-alongs for those who prefer otherwise. And by the way, I'm not knocking that style of captioning per se. I actually prefer it. For someone like me, it makes it super easy to keep track of who's saying what at any given point in the video. But I can admit that if you're not hearing impaired, I can see how it could not only be distracting, but annoying. I don't feel a need to burn captions into everything I create and force everyone to experience it the exact same way I do. There will still be proper closed captions added to my YouTube videos that you may turn on and turn off as you wish. These will always be there, and that's non-negotiable. Thank you, YouTube, for not only making it possible, but easy. Because if I did not have this way to provide them, I'd have to stick with the approach of burning captions into the videos on screen for everyone. After some reflection, I'm really glad I don't have to do that, because I would never want to knowingly exclude a group of folks, even if we were not talking about a selection that happens to include me in this case, and even if it did mean annoying some others. I'll still use intentional on-screen text now and then, just as another way to supplement audible information, such as within graphics, to reinforce important points, call something or someone out, like this, or whatever. Shorts or short form videos will probably keep their burned in style captions from my channel because they're consumed differently and so many people encounter them without sound to begin with. But my regular videos, I'm thinking closed captions, accurate closed captions that I will provide to avoid the potential for incorrect transcriptions. And then you choose. As I make this change, before I declare it my new permanent way from now until the end of time, I want to put the question out to the people who do use captions, especially those of you who are deaf, hard of hearing, hearing impaired, or however you identify. What do you want? And what are your preferences? Do you prefer captions burned permanently into videos? Do you prefer closed captions that you can control? Is there a certain style of captions that you enjoy, that you'd like to see more of throughout the internet, that perhaps is rarer than others? Is there something YouTube creators routinely do with captions that drives you insane, or something that you've seen done that you wish was done more? Because having profound hearing loss gives me exactly one person's experience of profound hearing loss, mine. I know what works for me, I know what I like, and that's how I started doing it here. But I absolutely do not like dictating stuff like this for others, especially if I don't have to. I don't automatically know what works for you, but I'd love to. That's actually become a pretty important personal goal for me as this new Ill-Fit Chrissy channel grows. I don't want to build a community where I sit and tell everyone what living with hearing loss, disability, or physical limitations is supposed to look like, or going through cancer, or recovering from cancer, or recovering from total knee replacements, or being far from anything resembling a chef, while having a definite weakness for all things delicious, or, well, any variation of a wonderfully, uniquely ill-fit human. I sincerely hope that you will join the conversation. Whoever you are, whatever your reason for being here, I'm really glad you're here. Thanks for joining me today. If you've enjoyed these few minutes with me or found anything useful, please hit the like button and subscribe. It helps support the channel and is much appreciated. If you have questions or feedback, please join the conversation by using the comments section below. And if you know anyone who might like to join or benefit from being here as well, please share. I look forward to continuing this journey with you.